And welcome back. This is Baller Scuba with another bonus episode of Let's Play Chrono Cross. I'm joined, as always, by our focus this episode. We are going to focus on Pip. Now, this is one of my saves. This is the one that I'm going to use for a lot of things, but this is not a good save to use for Pip. In fact, it's the worst save to use for Pip because I do have 99 stars. I am maxed out on stars, and as a result, Pip is no longer allowed to grow, and Pip does need to grow because, as you can see, Pip's stats are terrible. They're absolutely bad across the board, except for agility, but outside of that, they are not good. And Pip's element grid is also very small. As you can see, it doesn't even go up to level 7. This is what happens if you go through the entire game multiple times, get up to 99 stars, and never use Pip. This is not good. Pip does indeed have a level 7 tech, but it doesn't look like Pip does because we have not used Pip properly. So let me kind of describe how it should be done. How to use Pip properly. Pretty much you want Pip in your party, and you want Pip to see a certain type of element. There are two categories of elements. We're going to call them light and dark. If you use the light elements, and Pip uses the light elements, and Pip sees a lot of the light elements, which are blue, green, and white, Pip will go one route of evolution. Pip does evolve. Probably a good comparison is to Eevee if you played Pokemon. Eevee is a great Pokemon if you evolve it. If you don't evolve it, it's not that great. And since I have not evolved Pip, Pip is not that great. So we'll go over all the different evolutions. The light side, once again, is blue, green, and white, as opposed to the dark side of the elements, which are red, yellow, and black. Now, at this point in this save, because I don't have any more room for growth when it comes to getting more summon stars, any more growth levels, Pip is permanently stunted like this. I can evolve Pip so that we can see the other forms, but it's not necessarily worth it at this point because we don't get access to the level 7 tech. And even if you just leave Pip in this stunted form in New Game Plus, then Pip will have a level 7 tech. We'll show that off as well, but for the time being, this is, kind of a worst case scenario. So I did want to show it off. Ignoring Pip is not advisable, but now that I have shown off an ignored Pip, I will go over some of the... Well, we'll start with the evolutions. There's lots of them. There are actually tiers of them. We'll start with the first level of evolutions and what that looks like. I'll meet you there. And now it is time to see Pip actually transform. But before we do, just a couple things I wanted to address. I am in an alternate save. I have tried to go through the game kind of from scratch. Unfortunately, I lost my saves for that, so in order to make it go more quickly, I cheated on Surge. I gave him max stats. Also gave everybody all the elements so that I could make this Pip grinding go a little bit faster. I was all ready to go, and then I lost those saves, so tried to make that go a little bit faster. So a little bit of an explanation on how Pip evolves. Pip has to see and use elements of a certain color. There's pretty much a light side and a dark side. The light side consists of blue, green, and white elements, and Pip will transform into a nicer form if you use those around him a lot. And I do mean a lot. As you can see, I'm going to cure him. That will be the last one before he does transform. If you go this route, I will say that it will increase Pip's magic. So if you want magic using Pip, which is not necessarily something that I would recommend, this is the path to go through. Pretty much any element color that can cure you will do the trick. So those are blue, green, and white. So let's see Pip transform after I cure him one last time. I've done it quite a bit off screen. And Pip has sprouted wings. Let's go ahead and defend. We'll let these guys hit me. And that's pretty much the transformation. We can see Pip a little bit more closely here. This is kind of known as his angel form. This is the first tier of transformations. There's a second tier that can happen if you continue to use elements around Pip. Essentially, you get, well, like 2 points, so to speak, if you use an element as Pip, if Pip uses the element, but if Pip sees it in a battle, it also counts for 1 point, and you need over 100 points for this transformation. The second tier requires 300 additional points, so I will be getting those off screen, but there you can see Pip in his angel form. Alternatively, if you use a lot of red, yellow, or black elements, we will get the other tier 1 transformation for Pip. So I have it set so that we can get that transformation on screen after I use this Strengthen. I prefer this one simply because it does increase Pip's physical strength as opposed to the magic damage, and I'm a big fan of the physical damage in this game. Now, as you might have noticed, Pip grew some horns. This is the devil form of Pip. Well, a couple things happened there. We lost our elements, right? And we lost all of Pip's stamina as well. But we did get the transformation. This is key if you want to expand Pip's element grid. You're going to want to get these transformations kind of as early as you can. I did put it off until I felt comfortable actually trying to get the transformations to work the way that I wanted, so I waited until after I was Lynx. But it probably, if you're really content trying to get Pip into your final party, if that's your goal, you're going to want to do it as soon as you get Pip. You're going to want to spam, I would suggest red, yellow, and black, but if you want a magical Pip, you could go the other way. But we do get Pip in the devil form here. I should also point out that Pip will now be the innate color that was used the most in order to get that transformation to happen. So my angel Pip that we saw previously is going to be blue innate because I cured him a whole bunch, and this Pip is going to be red innate because I used red all the time around him. But that's not as important to me as getting those stats up. We will go over what happens at the next tier of evolution for Pip. There are actually 3 transformations that are possible, and I will try to show all of them off, and then we will show off Pip in a New Game Plus after you have transformed Pip into, well, at least one of the transformations. If you have Pip in his angel form and you continue going the light side, eventually you can get this transformation. Let's cure and then transform. Now this one is called Pip's Archangel form. We'll try to defend a few times so that I can actually show it off properly here. But this one is, well, it took me a little bit of time to do. It's actually easier for me to do the the light side than it is the dark side because I can stay in the battle longer due to the cures, but this is Pip in Pip's Archangel form. We will show it off in battle later, but since Pip doesn't have a level 7 tech right now, I can't really show it off fully. So we will show these off when I do have a level 7 tech for Pip. But this is the Archangel form. This is the best form if you are looking for Pip to kind of go with magic. If you want a good magic user with Pip, this is the way to go. The options are white, green, and blue for the innate colors. I'm sticking with blue because it's the easiest for me to do, but you can go for other forms if you choose, but that is the Archangel form. If you reverse course, you start as a devil and go toward the light side like I have done here, or if you go from the angel form and go toward the dark side, you'll end up with this form, which is in between the two. And we have ourselves the Holy Beast form, I am told it's called. I've also heard it called the Butterfly form because it does look like Pip is a butterfly. The horns grew, and we did sprout wings, but they are more like butterfly wings. And you might notice that we went back to the white form. So this is the second final form of Pip. The stats for this one are kind of between the two, not particularly good at physical strength, not particularly good at magic damage. So as a result, this is my least favorite form in terms of how I can use it in a battle, although I think it is my favorite form in terms of how it looks. But that is the second of 3 forms. I'll meet you when we can transform into the final of the 3 final forms. And finally, if you stick with the dark side, we can get the final transformation. We can get the Archdemon form. It's purple. Let's try to get a closer look at Pip. This is going to be the one that I'm using moving forward because this is the one that you want if you want to have a character with a high physical attack, which is my favorite stat in this game. You can do a lot with a high physical attack. So this is going to be the one that I move forward until essentially the end of the game. I'm going to go through, do New Game Plus. I'll show off everything that happens with Pip in New Game Plus, but this is the final form. You've got, well, you've got a bouncy Pip. Small wings, long horns, longer arms. That's something that would probably explain for the higher physical attack, but that is the final form of Pip. We have now seen all 6 of them throughout the entire playthrough and things like that, but when I come back, I will have a normal Pip, a rookie Pip, a Pip that has not undergone any transformations, but it will be a New Game Plus, so we will have access to the level 7 tech, which does change depending on Pip's form. So I'm going to go through to the end of the game, and I will catch you guys next time. That is going to do it for this bonus part of Let's Play Chrono Cross. I've been joined, as always, by Pip. I've been Baller Scuba. Hope you guys have enjoyed this part. Hope you laughed. Hope you learned. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.